Thank you so much. 54 degrees now, 8:09. And I have to introduce you to someone with me in the studio. I'd like you to welcome Iris Jackson, who's a local author. She wrote a book called Telling Trails, and we're going to hear all about it. Welcome, Iris. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too, Kate. This is great, and it is a beautiful day.
It is. No. It's a beautiful day. You have to put that swoop in there. Yeah, because Mike Spiel said so. It would be a good day to go for a hike.
Yes, ma'am, it sure would be, and we can swoop wherever you'd like.
Okay, that's good. Well, let's start with your book. I think you contacted me because I mentioned last week when I was talking to somebody how I love to meet local authors, people who have actually done it, who have written a book and completed a book and published a book. Bing, bang, boom, that's you.
Yes, bing, bang, boom, but it's a little longer than that.
I bet it is. I bet it is. Much more so. Because how long have you been working on this?
Well, several years, but the bing and the bang happen, which is so cool. So to write it down when you have those thoughts is really helpful.
Okay.
And you keep them, well, that's why I wrote the book. And honestly, it's in a hardcover version because you are worth a hardcover book.
Okay.
I don't mean just you.
You're right.
Everyone.
You're right. I am.
Because many of these bing, bang, boom thoughts are on scrap paper, old receipts, packs of envelopes stuck in over here that you just had to get out of your head.
I type them in my phone.
That's a really good thing because then you have them.
Yes.
So I guess
I type little notes in there, but I don't write them into a book. I end up saying, I have to remember to tell my listeners about that. So, for example, this morning I have a note here that says top button only. And that's because I was going to ask everyone, have you ever had a morning where you buttoned just the top button of your shirt and you ran out the door because you were too busy to button the rest of it, and then you got to work and discovered. I just wanted to know because I'm not that I've ever done that.
Oh, no, of course not.
But things like that. Now, the observations that you've made to write your book, Telling Trails. Tell us about the book.
Yes, ma'am. I love the title. It came after several iterations of what I wanted it to be. It really started out with story walking.
Oh, okay.
And I had looked that up, and it is a term that's already used for a location that does some hiking and trails and what have you. But I said, really, what you're doing here is you're talking with others while you're on your hike.
Okay.
You're also sharing with others as you write, and sometimes those others are yourself. It comes from your head to the pen, whether the pen is writing words or you're drawing or just your recollections, your feelings, a letter, something that you see that inspires you.
While you're hiking, while you're in the woods or in, maybe on the Heritage Trail or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because that's when your mind is kind of able to float and idle and coast and then show you other things that you're thinking about. Is that how that works?
True, but it's also the movement. Your body is moving and your mind is actively seeing things and feeling things and having experiences there. And whether you take photographs or you draw or you write, it's all part of you.
Okay.
The mind and the body together.
Okay. Now, you brought a copy of the book with you, and I leafed through it really quick, and I see some big blank spaces for me to write my observations and experiences in. Can you describe how do you use that? How do you want other people to use that?
That's true. And you used the word that I use. It's an interactive book. So there are things in here that I've written. There's photographs, letters, other things that I've put in here with poetry and other writings. And then there's a space for you because I feel like Telling Trails is yours. I wrote this for you, along with myself getting other ideas out. But that was my thought about how I could best share it.
Okay. So you start the conversation and you wrote down your thoughts, but you leave room for, if that makes me think of something, you leave room for me to write that down and join the conversation inside a paper book.
That's right. I
Wow.
love it. You could be my agent. That's exactly right.
Well, okay. Well, if I win the Powerball, then I'll take care of you, no problem.
Great. We'll
But
talk later.
yeah, yeah. So all of this like came up to you while you were walking on trails, local trails here?
Yes, local and up and down the East Coast,
Oh, wow, you've done a
lots
lot of traveling.
lots of places, and just writing little things down and keeping them. I wasn't really adept enough with my phone to get it down, or I wanted to be quiet at the time. So it was easier to just scribble it on paper.
Hmm.
So for me to have a book to put it in, I thought was the way to go.
And the book is Telling Trails, and it's available for sale where?
Well, we have it available for sale at all the Barnes& and Nobles, online and in store, as well as Amazon. But all of the Hudson Valley Rail Trail, Hudson Valley Book Trail, there we go, developed by Walt and Claire at the Montgomery Book Exchange, tells you all of your local book stores from Westchester area all the way on up past Rhinebeck, Red Hook, Hudson, all the way up there. So I just want to say thank you to them. So certainly you can order it through Bookshop at the Montgomery Book Exchange, Rough Draft in Kingston, and then you can enjoy other things that they have there. And from Binnacle in Beacon
Hmm.
to Bruce at the Beaufort Bookshop in South Carolina, it's available if you use Bookshop. It's such a cool way to support local shops, local authors, as well as find everything you would like to know about the place you hiked in the town that you were at.
Oh, that's a good point, too. What is your favorite local hiking spot?
Well, I just found a new one,
Oh,
which happens to be part of the Appalachian Trail, which was such a cool thing. And I found out about that at the Monroe Library, where I'm going to have an event on October 14th. So part of the Appalachian Trail is right off of Lakes Road between Monroe and Greenwood Lake. It's
okay.
called Fitzgerald Falls. And sure enough, way back in the woods, there are twin falls.
Oh,
And there's more water, as I hear, when there's more rain.
yeah, there's a correlation there. Yeah.
Yes.
But and there were trails that you can take back there?
It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a whole lot of parking right there. You just have to get off the side of the road, but it's so worth it. It's gorgeous. I felt like it was a tree auditorium. You could
Oh,
stand and feel that on your way to getting to the falls. But as I've heard, at the other end, once you get up the falls, which I heard you can climb, haven't done that yet, but I'd like to do that. But you can get there from Belleville Farms Creamery. Now,
as long as you have permission.
well, true. So either you can have the ice cream first or as a reward afterwards.
Okay. Okay. So how often do you go hiking? Every weekend?
I try to do that. Can't always do that, but even if you take some time to get out and walk, that's kind of how the book came about. I always liked nature and getting outdoors. I did some writing, as you heard, but it never really came together until I started doing it more regularly.
Okay.
And it comes to me as I go. As I found doing these hike events, that it comes to other people as they go too, even if they're not writers and they just like outdoors.
That makes sense. No, yeah, things occur to you when you're outdoors and you're just looking around and you notice the sound of the wind through the trees and you notice what color the leaves are turning. A lot of yellow this year so far.
A lot of yellow, but it looks like it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a great time of year to get out and hike. It's not too hot. Well, today it might be. but telling trails, I would like to hear, if you would be so kind, would you read us a couple of excerpts after we take a quick break?
Certainly. That would be my pleasure.
I would be delighted. Iris Jackson is here with her book, Telling Trails, on Wall Radio. We'll be right back. 8:21 at Wall Radio, 53 degrees. My guest in the studio is local author Iris Jackson, who is a hiker and a lover of nature and a writer and the author of Telling Trails, an interactive book with room for you to write your own observations after you read what Iris has written. That's a great idea.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I would love to hear an excerpt if you would be so kind.
Great. Totally my pleasure. So this one I titled Story Walking because of my first thoughts for the title. So here we go. Wonderful time, wonderful goal. Wonderful to get out and stroll. Wonderful way to make the story of my day. Of my day. Of your day. Of how we work and how we play. Seeing, hearing, talking, going. Feelings from inside and the feel of wind blowing. Like Kate had shared with us just before. I was
Look
like,
at
oh
that.
boy, interesting. You're right there. I love it. Caring, sharing, composing, and daring. Our telling trail is for getting up and out to find the way to do. Your telling trails can be that way too. Indoors to start when it's too cold or too private within your heart. But moving it along and out, whether you want to whisper or shout. Moving it outside will up your game with a sense of pride that you did it all the same. In words did you confide, you wrote, you got out and saw and felt and spoke for yourself, spoke to your friend, one who will support you till the end. Spoke with wonder, spoke with thought, spoke with dreams and wishes of what the experience brought. Spoke to get outside, to move, to see, to hear, to think. Spoke with a friend who with only a wink will share in your journey now and forever. See here, see now, telling trails, a time to treasure.
How lovely. Thank you so much. Telling Trails is the book, and that's what came to you from just walking trails. That's how it began, right? Just hiking and walking.
Yes, and
Okay.
I
observing
took photographs, and then the photographs kind of morphed into poems. And
Okay.
I said, "Ooh, how can I share this? I really like this." So,
And you do share it in many different ways. You have an event or two coming up.
I do. Yes, I do. Thank you so much. Saturday, October 14th at the Monroe Free Library from 11 to 1. We will be doing a little workshop ahead of the trail, and then we're going to take a walk and hike on the Heritage Trail for about an hour or so and see what you can find and think and are inspired to draw or write and share with yourself and with us as we reflect afterwards. So we will have that at monroefreelibrary.org to sign up.
Okay.
And that's the 14th. And then a little bit further upstate in Clifton Park, which is between Albany and Saratoga, we will be doing similar, but we will be at the Town Trails Park.
Okay.
And that'll be on the 21st.
So I'll have to get the one in Monroe. I have to get the information from you on that so we can post it on the wall board so people can, maybe click on it and link right through to the Monroe Free Library's site.
That would
to
be
sign
great.
up. How many people can you take on that?
Well, we're looking for at least a dozen. If
Okay.
we go more than that, it's
Should
fine.
you bring a notebook?
You can. I will have things for you as well, but take what you like, what you're comfortable with.
Comfy shoes.
Oh, definitely comfy shoes.
Yes.
But if you want to bring a sketchbook or whatever, that's perfectly fine as well.
And do you find that you've gotten to know yourself better by just walking the local trails?
Surely, I learn every time.
Yeah.
And it's not just from the people that I'm with, but what I see and feel and experience. And it's just amazing where we live here in the Hudson Valley. Such a beautiful place.
Yes, we're so lucky. Yeah, other places I've been, yeah, they're nice. They're nice. They're great. But we have everything here.
Yes, I agree. And the more I do this, the luckier I know that I am.
Okay. So the book, once again, is Telling Trails. It's interactive because there are observations from the author, from Iris, but there's room for you to write your own observations and enter the story and make it your own book, your own story about the trails that you've walked and how it's affected you in your life. That's so cool.
Thank you.
That's like groundbreaking.
Yeah. Wow. Groundbreaking.
I
Love it.
know. Hey.
Well, and for me, the groundbreaking part was having a website. So, so the electronic part of that is tellingtrails.org.
Okay.
And we will have other things coming up, other seasonal stories, maybe more challenging hikes. We'll have to see. Legacy writing, intergenerational sharing, and then finding your own voice.
Legacy writing. What's that?
Mhm. That's about you wanting to tell your stories from before that you maybe didn't think were all that important, but maybe as you've gotten through your life, you're thinking you want to share them now in some way.
Okay. Okay. I have some stories about my Uncle Pete that might be legacy, but they're silly.
Silly's good. Humor is good. It keeps us alive, doesn't it?
Oh, yes, that it does. Uncle Pete was an amazing character, almost hard to believe. Well, half of Uncle Pete's stories are actually fiction, but anyway, I'll tell you about that off the air another time. But thank you for giving us this opportunity to get to know you and Telling Trails. I love the photograph on the front cover. I told Iris that it reminds me of way back when I went to Girl Scout camp. This one beautiful, I felt like I was back at Girl Scout camp. I don't know. You take me back, take me different places, and that's the whole point of Telling Trails. Best of luck with it.
Great. Thank you so much, Kate. Hope to see everybody on the 14th and on your own Telling Trails in book form.
Thank you. Tellingtrails.org, you said, was your website?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we will post the October 14th event on the wall board so that people can join you on that too. Thank you so much for being here today. Unfortunately, we burned through our time. It's 8:29 at Wall Radio. Let's get into a news update. Here's CBS to start you off.